That's what people don't understand is, look, folks, when I had the 45 in my mouth and God saved my life, that was 2015. I didn't start Die Hard till 2018. So there's that space and time of God going, okay, I saved him. Let me educate him a little bit. And now okay. And then when the wife of Tim Pinsky called and said he was hanging in the garage, and I went back to my father and went, okay. And then hence, we're here now today. Okay. Look, folks, Forward Operating Base Rush is just the first facility. Get it straight.
Isn't it weird how small little choices, and you have to make them, things that seemingly insignificant. Sometimes they're significant, like your experience you were describing when you had your 45. But, other small choices, and you intersect with people. And I almost didn't go to that event in March. I don't know why, but I felt the need. And so, you talked about your chance meeting with Sue. It's really about that. But the big thing is you have to get off the couch. You have to get out and meet people, because that's when the great stuff happens, right? It doesn't happen alone in the dark.
Yeah, well, and I love technology, but it doesn't happen here either.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, this is great. We get to outreach. I get to reach veterans worldwide to say, hey, don't give up. You got this. But that still doesn't replace the face-to-face interaction that a human being needs.
Absolutely.
Okay. And again, that's what our facilities are for, in the veteran community. A place to gather. Everybody gets wrapped around this 12 single veterans and 2 veterans with their families. Within the big scheme of the operation, that transitional housing is maybe about that big. That's just
hope starts at that size, but then it grows exponentially. But it takes the first. It's just like the name of my organization is a botanical name. It's called Brasiliensia, and that is the botanical name for mustard. Okay, so from a biblical standpoint, you have the mustard seed, but if you want to be mustard seed is the smallest plant or seed you'll plant in the garden. But it takes water and cultivation and sunlight and nutrients. It grows to the largest plant in the garden if with proper care. And so hope starts like that, Brian. And we that's where we have to, continue to water, to cultivate it, to do the different things that we need to do.
Again, that is
with our wellness. It could be your health. It could be your mental wellness. It could be your relationship with God. It starts small. You're not going to have a St. Saul, road to Damascus moment where you're going to get struck down in big dramatic fair, and like Hollywood wants us to believe. It takes small decisions. That's where it starts.
Again, every day there are decisions that need to be made within my organization. Some are just automatic, right? If you talk to us about removing God from the mission, you're blocked instantly. I have no time for that. Okay. And there's some decisions I don't even interact with because I have my team behind me and they know the standards and they know that, hey, you know what? This isn't going to fly with Brian. I'm not, brother, don't even waste your time.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, brother, you're on this podcast. What? You're helping. And Luke 3:11 tells me to share my blessings, the blessings you're bringing to this mission. Look, brothers, sisters, reach out to KJ. Reach out. Have that discussion. What's your wellness? I don't have all the answers. He doesn't have all the answers, but you know what? Together, we can make some pretty informed ones.
Absolutely.
Oh, Sue, how do they reach out to you?
Ooh, I've got this really cool email, susan@projectdiehard.org. So super easy. Oh, and you know what? I put Sue in my, whoop, on that side. I usually say Susan on there for that reason. susan@projectdiehard.org. And actually, KJ, what's your website? How do people reach out to you?
Well, in my second business, I have an electronic card. If you want me to flash it up there on the screen, I can put it up there on the screen, and I'll give you my cell phone number and my email address if you like. Would you like me to try and share it?
Oh, feel free, brother. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I am going to share it with you, and I just encourage people if they would like to connect with me. Can you see that up there?
Let me add that in here. Excellent. Yes.
Okay, it's got my name on there, my direct phone number. If I can help any of you, there's my email address. If you click that QR code, you're going to get to a website for a company called Melaleuca. I'm partnering with them. They're just a phenomenal company that espouses all those values. And it's one of my partners that I work, and I just really can't talk enough about it. But that's my contact information up there. You'll see a picture of my wife that I'm so grateful for. We had Mother's Day, and so that is how you reach me, if you would. That's the best way to do that.
Perfect. I scan the code and it pops right up with that exactly what I'm seeing on the screen. So
yep, and then you have my contact information. If you save it there, it'll be loaded into your address book, and then you can reach out to me anytime you have questions.
Excellent. I love it. And I got to say, we use Melaleuca too. I love the products. 100%.
It is, and it actually has a lot of other things. I think we'll see a lot of other people that use it for, it actually can check the 6 categories we talked about. It actually can have an impact in all 6, although there's other things that we want to do, but really a great company. So anyway, thank you for letting me share that. That's my contact information. If I can ever be of assistance for anybody, please let me know. I mean, I try to help people as much as I possibly can. And I think that's how, blessings are returned back to everybody, and you pay it forward. I can't remember. There's a story that I always liked. One of my favorite, at a particular traveling time for me, I really struggled out of college, and it's not the same. Everybody's struggle is different. So my mom always wanted me to, make sure I read books. So I don't know if you read books. A lot of people don't want to do it, but there's an author called Zig Ziglar. And a lot of people have heard Zig. And I think it was in one of his stories. I think it was "See You at the Top," and at least this is my interpretation. So I'm going to share that with you if you don't mind. But it just goes, and the way the story goes, a person died and they went to heaven, and they're standing at the gates of heaven, and this wouldn't happen. But St. Peter said, "Hey, where would you like to go, heaven or hell?" And the guy's like, "Well, can I see both of them? I'd like to kind of see both of them." And it's make believe, but it does the point. So he took this gentleman down to hell. And he goes into this huge banquet room with the devil there, and all the people are sitting around. The banquet table is full of food. but the mood is dour. Everybody is grumpy and upset and everything else. And, you know, he's like, okay, I'm ready to go see heaven. So he took him up to heaven, same exact picture, but it was a celebration. Everybody was jovial. They were happy. And he goes to St. Peter and he says, I don't know there's a difference, but I don't know what's the difference. And he said, did you look at the forks? And he said, what do you mean? He said, well, the forks are 2 foot tall. When you're grabbing the food and you can't get a 2-foot fork in your mouth, they were all feeding each other in heaven, but in hell they were trying to eat for themselves. And to me, that always had made an impression, because when you're helping other people, they in turn will help you. Not everybody. Some people are takers, 100% takers, but a lot of the people that give, you know, are there, and that's your true people that you want to associate with too. That's what it is. But a lot of people are in that rat race and they think they have to get theirs because nobody's going to help them. So we just want to help more people, and that's the world I want to live in. That's why I raise my kids, my grandkids, and everybody in. So again, I love that story, because I think that's an epitome of what it is. Brian, you're laughing, so I'm sorry I got a little verbose or kind of too funny on.
Awesome.
I got books in here on like who stole my cheese.
Sure.
I'm very well read, but I'm not going to lie, folks. There's one book.
Yes. Absolutely.
That's it. That's the only book that matters to me. All the rest is good to read because knowledge is power.
Sure.
That book tells me to seek knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's got a lot of great knowledge too, if you'll actually listen to it and put it to practice.
Yeah, it does. That's why it will never leave the mission.
And actually, have you shared the rules with KJ? I don't know if that was something you guys had a chance to cover.
I don't know. Did I break the rules? I hope I didn't.
Oh, no.
No, brother. I know I told you the rules, but just for the audience's sake, let's go through them once again. Rule number 1, God will never leave this mission. Don't ask. Okay? If I'm willing to turn down $2 million and lose a very good friend over that decision, I'm good with it. Second, we will never use the suffering of veterans for profit. When a veteran is ready to tell their story, we will use every opportunity that we have to help them do that. Not before. Don't ask.
Right.
And third, no drugs or alcohol allowed in the mission. Okay? What you do on your time is your time. But that book tells me not to lead my brother into temptation.
Absolutely.
So those are the 3 rules that if you break one of those, may God have mercy on your soul.
Thanks for the refresher.
Brother, as I like to tell people, you don't have to talk to me at all. You don't. Break one of those 3 rules, and you will talk with me.
Mm-hmm. And it's all good. You know, that having the rules in place makes it so that we are all playing on the same playground, and those that choose to not play on that playground, that's fine. But
absolutely,
we're looking for folks who want to hop on board, and I like to say that over and over because that we truly are. We're looking to grow. We need to grow, because the more people that know about Project Die Hard and what's happening here, the better. because I hate to even bring it up, but I'm going to, because Brian, you said that you were notified last night of how many that have lost their, was it, no?
Not last night. Saturday
night. The day
Saturday
leading into Mother's Day.
leading into Mother's Day. Yeah, I know I had to do a Mother's Day message. It's on our social media. It's out there. I'm very thankful to all the mothers out there. We wouldn't be around without them.
Absolutely.
Funny thing. But I'm compiling my message, and then I normally don't do that on a Sunday morning. I wait till like afternoon to open that email, but I did. And I got notified of 3 mothers that were going to have a very bad day on Mother's Day because their veterans were the demons.
For me, that one's hard to take. that's a. I mean, any one that is lost is too many. But now, when you put that in perspective of, okay, that was leading into Mother's Day, and how many lose their fight, on any given holiday or whatever that day is, and now that is associated with that for everyone around them forever. And it's hard enough to lose somebody, and that just, as a mom, that takes me to another perspective.
Well, again, Sue, interject here because you know what? I'm not a mother. I'm a father, and look. People complain to me, Brian, you're so cold when it comes to death. I was a combat medic for 26 years. What do you want more out of me? I've seen death up front and forward. But yeah, Sue, I want you to interject on the mother's side of the house. That's just got to be terrible as a mother. You carried this person. You raised this person. There's got to be that special bond there.
Oh yeah, I can't even imagine. I mean, I remember the days before I was a mom thinking, oh, I know what other parents are. Oh, they're messing things up. I know better. Everybody gets to feel you think you're an expert at something until you actually do it. And then it's like, oh yeah, different perspective. That's like what you're saying as a medic, and knowing as a medic, as a veteran, what your fellow veterans need. Having been there, having that association makes a difference. I'm not a vet. I don't have that piece. I was an EMT, so I can somewhat relate to the medic side. There's pieces along the way, and that's where we're all connected somehow, right? There's different pieces. We all bring our own experience and our own backgrounds, but that is something that, as a mom, I can't even imagine what that must have been like to get the call of, wait, what? There's nothing worse than burying a child, and I have not experienced that. Praise the Lord for that. And that is something that no one should have to do.
Well, and again, folks, if you follow us on Facebook, if you go to our groups, we have a private group out there. It's called Project I Heard Families, and that is only for families who have lost their veteran to the demons. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The only interaction I do with that group is I'm the only one who can approve or disapprove if you're joining. Besides that, that's your group. I tell everybody, if you find anybody soliciting in that group, report them immediately. Because that's not what it's for. That is for the families to support one another.
Mm-hmm. good to have that reminder that that group exists, because I'm not in that group. I kind of forget about that that's out there. So that's very good to share out and make sure that that's a resource. I'm sad that it has to exist, but my goodness, that's so needed. So, well, and I know we are coming close to the end here. I want to come back and ask Cage. I want to ask you too, with where you are here in our midst with Project Die Hard. What kind of a role do you potentially see with us? How do you? What is your impressions at this point of possibilities?
Sure. Well, I love what Brian is doing and what everything that Project Die Hard stands for. You know, I'm going to make a comment, I guess, in that, the secular society wants to tell us that we don't need God, and that you can handle it on your own, and do different things. So I just love that what Brian has done and how he has standing up for his belief and everything else. And what I'm trying to do is make sure that I understand how I can help Brian accomplish his mission. I mean, there's no greater. There'll be a lot of satisfaction for me to know that I can help him in any way. So I'm constantly thinking about how I can help Brian accomplish his mission. I've had some different thoughts after this podcast. I'm going to make a couple of phone calls. I have some people that I hadn't thought about, and that's the whole secret of it, from my perspective, because the more interaction you have with people, and you have a genuine understanding of what they do and their hopes and their dreams, and how you can help them reach their hopes and their dreams and accomplish their mission, the more you can bring into play the different aspects of what you can do to help them. And so I'm looking forward to learning more, introducing people to Brian that can help him, accomplish his mission. And I'll do whatever I can to support Brian and veterans. I mean, make that transition from active duty to civilian life, because I do think I had some uniqueness, as we mentioned, that first situation, or where people have a hard time making that transition because it's not the same values that you have, your brotherhood or sisterhood in the military service. It's out there. It's a little bit different, but it's out there. And good people find good people, right? That's what I'm trying to do, because I think the world of Brian and his mission. So that's really where my role is at, and how I can do that. I love to help. I behind the scenes probably is even more. I'm not. Go back to my upbringing, large German community. That you don't think about your stuff. You think about how you can help people. You put your nose down. You get to work. You do things that you can do to help and make a difference, and that's really where I'm at. Love to be able to do that and just have the satisfaction of knowing I can help Brian and Die Hard become a huge success.
Awesome. I love that. And I think Brian froze there for a moment and he just fell off. I think he's coming back now, but that is absolutely in line with my background, all the things with what you just said. So I really appreciate those words, and welcome back, Brian.
I don't know what happened. All of a sudden everything went freeze and everything rebooted. I hate technology at times.
Well, you're just in time for our, at the end, every time when we come here, we do end our time together with a word of hope for our veterans. And Now, I'm also going to say, KJ, if there's any last message you want to share, I'll pass it to you first so that you can, any other thoughts you had you wanted to make sure to share out before we're done. And then if you want to share just your message of hope for our vets.
Absolutely. So just realize, I mean, if you're in a dark spot, you know, there are people in the world, and it can be a kind of a dark place, but there are a lot of people out there that are looking to bring hope and be helpful. Ask for help. That really is the biggest thing that I think that are out there. If you're in a dark place too, also consider small acts of kindness for other people. That actually opens the door. So one of the challenges that one of the things that my mom, who's still alive, I love it to there, and she would always reinforce, and I'll leave this as my final message, is and when you're concerned or you don't have hope, give hope to somebody else. Be kind to do those things, because then you stop thinking about your problems. You brought some new light into the world and helped other people. And in the cosmic universe, the dear Lord will make sure and return those blessings to you tenfold. So that would be my message that I would end on.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And Brian, I'm going to pass it over to you.
All right, folks, brothers, sisters, you're feeling pain. I got it. Mental, physical, spiritual pain. You got it. I got it. But remember, if you can feel pain, you're alive. And if you're alive, you can fight. Okay? I had an old beat up Vietnam veteran instructor teach me that one. If you're alive, if you feel pain, you're alive. And if you're alive, you can fight. Fight every day. Don't give up. Fight every day. You need some help along the way? Reach out. We'll do our best. That's all I can promise you, man, is to do my best. But don't quit. All right, back to you, Sue.
Amen.
You guys are amazing. And my word is always, you know, you're here for a reason. God's not done with you yet. If you need some help along the way, that's what we're here for. What a great community. And we get to introduce someone as wonderful as KJ here, a wellness guide. I mean, he can help too. We're all here. We are absolutely behind you 100% of the way, whatever you need. So don't forget, people have your back. And we are here every Monday night. I look forward to those joining us again next week. Every Monday, you get that update from us here with Project Die Hard Mission Monday update, 6:30 p.m. Central. And for all of us here with Project Die Hard, as always, we thank you.